I'm Luke Danner, 36 years old, a cybersecurity specialist who has spent his adult life fixing other people's systems while quietly paying to keep my own family from falling apart. I married into comfort, into a southern household that looked polished from the outside, private schools, charity galas, the right last names, but I was always the extra piece, the stepfather who paid the bills and stayed off the stage. My wife's son was the golden one, the future everyone clapped for, while I learned how to be invisible, how to make myself useful instead of loved. I told myself that was enough, that loyalty was quieter than applause, until the night my phone buzzed with a message that made my stomach drop and my hands go cold. It wasn't just cruel, it was surgical. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't about a graduation at all. It was the first move in a game where I was supposed to disappear. Rain hit the apartment window like warning shots. I sat at my desk, shirt unbuttoned halfway, the monitor glow pulsing like a heartbeat. Midnight. The air had that wired feel, static, sharp, something just beyond reach. My phone lit up. Griffin, you're banned from graduation, idiot. 12 words. No emojis. Just venom, pure and clean. My throat tightened. I stared at the screen. Tried to blink it away. It stayed. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened our shared expense folder. One click. Then another. Mortgage. Utilities. Car insurance. All under my name. Paid in full. By me. And Griffin? Not just the stepson. He was the reason Nina and I even tried. When I married her 6 years ago, she said, "You're the man he needs." Now he had a private school diploma coming and a jawline sharp enough to cut. The kid I used to help with math homework had just erased me with a sentence. I called Nina. She didn't answer. Second ring. Voicemail. I tried again. Nothing. I texted. Did you see what Griffin sent? Was that from you? 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then the phone rang. Nina, I said. She sighed. Not tired. Just annoyed. Luke, you're overreacting. What? Maybe it was a joke. Griffin's. He's a kid. He's 19, Nina. And he just banned me from the one event I've been paying toward for 4 years. A pause. Then, you're spiraling again. That word. Spiraling. Like I was the unstable one. Like I didn't have spreadsheets, receipts, and proof of every goddamn thing I kept afloat in this house. You know what? I said, calm now. The kind of calm you get before a fire. Forget it. I hung up. Silence. Then, click. Hard drive powered up. I opened my vault. Pulled the financial master file. My breath shortened as I scrolled. An unfamiliar charge caught my eye. T-Mobile, $286. Family plan. Another. AppleCare Premium, 3 devices. Linked to a Gmail I didn't recognize. Then I noticed it. The payment account wasn't mine. Not anymore. Owner, Griffin Maddox. The entire structure, built on my name, had been quietly shifted under theirs. A transfer here. A document edit there. No notification. No calls. Not even a thanks. I pulled my burner laptop from the shelf. Booted into air-gapped mode. Ran a trace. That Gmail? Registered 3 weeks ago. Logged in from 2 locations, Charleston and Savannah. Nina had been traveling for work both weekends. She hadn't told me about either trip. I leaned back, heart hammering. Not from rage. From the clarity of it. People don't stab you in the back, I muttered. They smile, hold your hand, and whisper while they do it. The power flickered. Just once. Then came back. I reached for my wallet, pulled the secondary USB key I swore I'd never use. Inside it, every digital receipt, every audio recording, every login log, contingency protocols. For betrayal. I never thought I'd need it, but they thought I'd never check. Outside, thunder rolled over the city like a warning drum. They erased me like I never existed. But I'm about to become the glitch they can't delete. The motel room smelled like bleach and rust. I kept the lights off. One bulb buzzed weakly in the corner. The floor creaked like it had a memory. My laptop booted in silence. The burner phone next to it lit up. Nothing new. No call. No apology. Just the echo of Nina's sigh when she said, "You're spiraling again." People don't say things like that unless they've rehearsed it. I tapped into the backup server. Years of archives. I used to protect our home network like it mattered. Now I was weaponizing it. Griffin's tuition portal. I reran the IP log. His login location last week? Boston. Another hit? Houston. 2 places I hadn't been. 2 places Nina had to fly for work. A file blinked open, an e-receipt from a burner service. $12. Message spoofing. The text that broke everything wasn't from Griffin's number at all. It was sent through a clone app. I stared at it. "You're banned from graduation, idiot." Manufactured. Intentional. Precise. The timing. The wording. It wasn't a fight. It was a surgical removal. I scrubbed the database deeper. Then something hit me. The power of attorney I had signed 3 years ago, emergency access, in case I was ever incapacitated. I hadn't touched that document since the pandemic. Now it was updated. Redrafted. Filed 2 months ago. With my name on it. My signature. Except, I never signed it. The file was dated on the day I was in Denver for DEF CON. Notarized by a lawyer named Sloan Maddox. Not in my contact list. But listed as trusted legal liaison on Nina's LinkedIn. I checked our joint bank account. Empty. One savings shell remained. A travel fund I'd started for Griffin's graduation gift. Even that was bleeding. A gym membership. Premium rideshare. A chain of payments to Artisan Academic Solutions LLC. I clicked on the billing profile. The linked Gmail wasn't mine. But the name on the account was unmistakable. Griffin Maddox. He had full access to the credit line I built. The graduation trip I saved for. The life I deferred so he could have his moment. And it was all rerouted. They weren't cutting me out. They were absorbing me. I whispered aloud, "Parasites always drain the host before moving on." Cut scene. Flashback in fragments, not memory, surveillance. A still image, Griffin accepting a school award. Nina clapping too fast. Me in the back, holding my breath. Another, Nina's hand in mine at a gala. Her smile dead behind the eyes. Another, a family dinner, Griffin complaining about taxes. Nina correcting him, sharp, like she was prepping him for more. A script. A grooming. This wasn't impulsive. This was structured. The motel hallway groaned. I paused, hand hovering over the keyboard. A shadow passed under the door. Too slow to be housekeeping. Too still to be a mistake. I slid my Glock out of the nightstand. Didn't move. Just listened. No knock. No footsteps. I waited 30 seconds. Nothing. Then, a soft mechanical whir. Like plastic being slid across carpet. I opened the door. Empty hallway. A keycard on the floor. No label. No logo. Just a name etched in the magnetic strip. L. Danner. My name. This room. Someone had access. Someone was watching. I left within the hour. Drove 3 cities south. Switched SIMs. Burned the keycard in a gas station sink. At a diner at 3 a.m., I met with Dom Reyes, an old tech contact. You ever heard of Artisan Academic Solutions? I asked. He nodded. Ghost firm. Front. Real operations out of Austin. Who funds them? He hesitated. Used to be part of a cluster of shell orgs tied to, wait. He typed. Fast. Frowned. Then, this is weird. All the leads point to a PR crisis firm. My gut sank. Sloan Maddox? He stopped. Looked up. How do you know that name? I didn't answer. But my spine felt cold. She wasn't just a lawyer. She was Nina's fix-it girl. The one you called when you needed to clean a name, erase a digital trail, or rewrite a husband's life without alerting the law. Dom leaned in. If she's involved, you're not in a fight. You're in a pre-written obituary. I stood. My mind racing. You know what they say, I said quietly. Villains don't wear masks. They wear proximity. Dom handed me a flash drive. This might get you 10 seconds ahead. It wasn't much. But 10 seconds was enough to set the fuse. They didn't just cut me out. They've been replacing me, one forged click at a time. Fog peeled off the road like a secret trying to hide. I ditched my rental, tossed the burner into the river, and climbed into a different car, a dusty old Civic I kept for moments like this. Unregistered. No digital trail. It smelled like rust, plastic, and the last time I trusted anyone. I drove east. No music. Just the hum of rubber on asphalt and the storm inside my head. Griffin was just the echo. Nina was the voice. But someone else was writing the script. They weren't trying to humiliate me. They were trying to erase me. Cut scene. Abandoned rest stop. I killed the engine. Opened the trunk. The gear was still intact, burner laptop, encrypted hard drive, go bag with 10 grand in cash, fake IDs, and a cracked iPhone synced to Nina's old iCloud. I powered it up. No location tracking. No alerts. Just files. Lots of them. Backed up years ago. She must have forgotten it ever synced. People only hide things from strangers. But Nina? She hid everything from the man paying her mortgage. Folder names blurred together, exits, liability, silence. I clicked exits. Inside, PDFs. One labeled Revised Property Transfer, Maddox Estate. I opened it. My name wasn't on it. Just Nina. And Griffin. Joint owners. Effective next month. Signed. Notarized. Filed with the county clerk's office. The same date I was in Miami at a security conference. Another forged signature. A pattern. Not a mistake. A strategy. I moved to liability. Bank statements. Photos of my desk. Screenshots of my chats. Voicemails I never knew she recorded. One was from a month ago. A clipped recording of me saying, I feel like I'm losing it. Taken out of context. Weaponized. Another file, insurance claim draft, mental disturbance clause. Filed in my name. No claim yet. Just prepped. Someone had been building a case against me while I was building a future for them. People don't love you. They leverage you. Rain started again. I closed the laptop. Checked the side mirror. A dark sedan passed slowly. Windows tinted. No plates. I ducked, counted to 10. Gone. 4 now. But the pressure wasn't leaving. Just pausing. Next stop, Mount Harriet Motel. An old contact tipped me about a safe house there. The type used by people who couldn't afford to be found. I checked in under Ben Kavanaugh. Room 212. Second floor. Facing the alley. Perfect line of sight. I set up my surveillance kit. Plugged into the motel's busted Ethernet port. Ran diagnostics. 2 unsecured devices were nearby. One was a front desk terminal. The other a security cam server in the hallway. I tapped in. The feed loaded. Grainy. Choppy. Then, movement. Griffin. In a hoodie. Walking down the hall. Tonight. Not an old recording. Not mislabeled. Live. Room 208. He slipped something under the door. Paused. Looked up. Right into the lens. Smirked. Walked away. I rewound the feed. Froze the moment. Zoomed in. The envelope in his hand. Luke Danner, 208. Wrong room. Wrong number. But the name was real. And he knew I'd see it. That wasn't intimidation. It was surveillance bait. I grabbed my keycard. Slid into the hallway. Approached 208. No sounds inside. Just the envelope. I picked it up. Inside, a single Polaroid. Me. From 2 nights ago. At the gas station. Buying burner phones. Someone was tailing me. And they were close enough to smile while doing it. My chest tightened. Not fear. Focus. They thought I was 1 step behind. But I'd just gone off-grid, and this time, I'm not coming back alone. The law office was supposed to be closed. It wasn't. The sign still said Maddox and Vale, legal strategy, asset protection, but the windows were dark, the street empty, the air smelling like wet paper and old copper. Border town. South Carolina side. Places like this didn't ask questions. They just buried answers. I parked 2 blocks away. Walked. Every step felt counted. The back door gave after a short pry. No alarm. Either they forgot, or they wanted me inside. Inside, the air was stale. Dead printers. Dust on leather chairs. The exit sign flickered red like a warning pulse. I moved fast. Desk drawers. Filing cabinets. Nothing labeled. Everything intentional. People who plan betrayal never leave it obvious. They leave it buried. I found the storage key taped under a desk leg. Basement. The stairs creaked. Each step loud. My breathing slow. Controlled. There it was. Unit B12. Padlock new. Cheap. I cut it. Inside, a fireproof file box. Heavy. Familiar. Paper doesn't lie. People do. I opened it. Top folder. White. Clean. Mutual dissolution of assets, emergency clause. I froze. My name was there. Not as owner. Not as spouse. As risk. The document spelled it out in cold legal language. If Luke Danner was deemed unstable, incapacitated, or a threat to household continuity, all shared assets would revert to Nina Maddox as sole administrator. And below that, my signature. Perfect. Too perfect. The date matched the day I was testifying at a federal cybersecurity hearing in D.C. There were cameras. Badges. Proof. Forgery. I flipped the page. Attached addendum, psychological evaluation trigger. A licensed psychologist's name. I'd never met him. But there was a profile. My profile. Panic markers. Alcohol risk. Paranoia. Manufactured. Weaponized. People don't destroy you with fists. They do it with paperwork. I remembered something an old mentor once told me: power isn't loud. It's bureaucratic. I checked the footer. Legal liaison, Sloan Maddox. Of course. I kept digging. Second folder. Invoices. Retainers paid on my behalf, by Nina, to a doctor with a sealed malpractice case. Charges dropped 2 years ago. Quietly. Money leaves fingerprints. I snapped photos. Scanned everything. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Above. Slow. Measured. Not police. Someone who knew the building. I killed my light. Held my breath. A shadow crossed the stairwell. A woman's voice drifted down. Calm. Almost bored. Luke Danner, she called. You always did prefer basements. Something about control, right? Sloan. I stayed silent. She laughed softly. You can come up. Or you can keep pretending this is a thriller and not a cleanup. I moved. Up the stairs. Gun low. Heart high. She was waiting by the desk. Black coat. No fear. That kind of confidence only comes from leverage. You're trespassing, she said. So are you, I replied. This firm's dissolved. Firms dissolve. Strategies don't. She gestured to the box in my hand. That's phase 3. I said nothing. She smiled. You know what they say, when someone rewrites your story, it's because you stopped serving the plot. I stepped closer. You framed me. No, she said. We prepared for you. The burner phone on the desk started ringing. Sloan didn't look at it. You should answer that. I did. Static. Then a voice. Distorted. Mr. Danner, this isn't a war you walk away from. You were never part of the story. You were just a test run. The line went dead. I hung up. Sloan tilted her head. Phase 4 would have made this cleaner. Discredit. Disappear. But now you're curious. Curiosity kills cats, I said. And men who don't know when they've lost. I laughed. Short. Sharp. I haven't lost. I've just been misfiled. She stepped back. 1 inch. Tension cracked the room. Listen to me, she said. If you push this, Nina doesn't just lose assets. She loses custody. Griffin loses everything. There it was. The leverage. I leaned in. Funny thing about leverage, I said quietly. It only works if the other side still cares. Her smile faltered. Just for a second. I walked out. Didn't run. Didn't look back. Outside, the night felt heavier. Like eyes everywhere. I got in the car. Checked the mirror. A sedan idled across the street. Engine on. Lights off. I pulled away. They wrote me out like a subplot. Time to flip the ending. The venue was sleek, all steel beams and faux ivy walls. One of those modern Southern academies where tuition costs more than most mortgages. Griffin's name was already printed in the glossy program, third in the lineup, tucked between the Rhodes twins and a girl headed to MIT. I scanned the crowd. Suits. Sequins. Smiles too wide. Phones held high like shields. Security was heavier than expected. Metal detectors. Bag checks. Off-duty cops, clearly briefed. I slipped past the side entrance with the janitorial badge I'd cloned 2 nights earlier. One elevator up, staff corridor. Left at the service stairwell. Exit at upper balcony. I had a full view of the stage. And eyes on her. Nina. Sitting in the front row. Wearing navy. Back straight. Smile camera ready. Beside her, Sloan. Talking. Laughing. And Griffin. Leaning back like a prince awaiting his coronation. People like them don't win by force. They win by removing your voice. But I wasn't silent anymore. Cut scene. I plugged in the wireless receiver. Fed the audio loop through the venue's Bluetooth speaker system. Tapped into the faculty tablet. Uploaded the file. A simple, clear voice. Mine. Congratulations, Griffin Maddox, the speaker echoed as the principal began calling names. Applause. Valedictorian. Scholar. Son. My voice layered in. Also, co-signer on illegal asset transfers, forged documentation, and multiple counts of digital impersonation. The crowd went still. Nina's smile collapsed. Griffin turned sharply, eyes darting. Sloan stood. Chaos cracked open like glass under pressure. I hit play on the second clip. A recorded call. The lawyer from the basement. We'll have Danner declared unfit by June. File under Emergency Clause B. The faculty scrambled to cut the feed. Too late. The final clip played video. Surveillance footage of Sloan entering the Maddox legal office after hours. Timestamped. Clear. She wasn't cleaning up. She was orchestrating. Screams. Security rushed. I moved fast. Down the back stairwell. Through a maintenance tunnel. Out to the loading dock. A rental car was waiting. Plates swapped. Inside, I exhaled. But it wasn't over. Cut to voicemail on my second burner. From a restricted number. I warned you. You turned a funeral into a parade. Click. No name. But I knew the voice. AMC. The silent partner. The missing node. I checked the SIM logs. One contact logged. N. Maddox. She'd called AMC 2 days ago. 1 minute. Then erased the call. Almost. But forensic tools don't forget what fingers do. I ran facial recon against AMC's probable alias list. 1 hit. Nolan Crane. Tech financier. Political donor. And Nina's old colleague from her first investment firm. Of course. I needed leverage. Proof. And someone who still believed in rules. I dialed a number I hadn't touched in years. Danner, came the voice. Low. Tired. Detective Bellamy, I said. You still trading favors for flash drives? Pause. You better not be bleeding. Not yet. Then talk. I did. Not everything. Just enough. Bellamy sighed. You always did aim higher than your parachute. I need protection. You need a witness stand. Maybe a miracle. What I need is someone watching Griffin. He's not just a pawn. Another pause. Then, he's scheduled to leave the country tonight. Boarding school. Geneva. A slow burn lit in my gut. They were extracting him. Wiping the slate. Not today. Cut scene. I arrived at the airport an hour later. Disguised. Past security like breath through a cracked window. Waited at gate 42. There he was. Griffin. Alone. Hoodie up. Passport in hand. I sat beside him. He didn't look. You think this ends with a plane ticket? Still no eye contact. I leaned in. You're not a victim, Griffin. You're an accomplice. And you're 17. That means you'll get to enjoy this mess for a long, long time. He swallowed. Hard. Sometimes, the biggest threat isn't losing everything. It's realizing you never earned it in the first place. He stood. Turned. Enjoy Switzerland, I said. He stopped. His voice barely audible. They said you'd burn everything. I smiled. They underestimated how much I'd enjoy watching it all melt. Nina Maddox was arrested at 4:47 p.m., right outside the Riverton Club. She didn't resist. She didn't flinch. She adjusted her hair, handed off her phone, and smiled like she was walking onto a red carpet. The press ate it up. Behind her, the ballroom lights still flickered. The graduation celebration had been canceled mid-toast. Guests trickled out, dresses stained with wine, men mumbling about attorneys and misunderstandings. Griffin was gone. No boarding school. No airport. Just gone. Bellamy said he disappeared from a bathroom at gate 42. Security footage? Corrupted. Of course. The whole thing had become too slick. Too orchestrated. I stood on the courthouse steps later that night, watching her get escorted into the building in cuffs. Cameras snapped. Reporters shouted. She kept her eyes on me. And smiled. Like she'd already planned her next move. Cut scene. 3 weeks later. I sat in a diner off Route 9, cracked leather booth, lukewarm coffee. The news played above the counter. Breaking, State announces investigation into AMC, following the Danner testimony. They used my name now. Not just former stepfather or anonymous tech contractor. They said Luke Danner. Like it mattered. But truth isn't a clean weapon. It cuts both ways. You don't survive a story like this and come out whole. You just come out different. I sipped the coffee. Stale. No Nina. No Griffin. No restitution check. No apology. Just air. And silence. Sometimes justice feels like an empty booth with no one sitting across from you. Then I checked my inbox. One email. No subject. One attachment. A video file. Griffin. Sitting in a dark room. Webcam angle. Hoodie pulled back. I thought I was smart, he said. Long pause. But smarts aren't the same as being good. Another pause. I wanted her approval. That's what no one gets. I didn't do it for money. I did it because she told me I was her legacy. He exhaled. And now I'm yours, too. Then the screen went black. Cut scene. I forwarded it to Bellamy. No reply. I deleted the email. Some truths aren't worth preserving. Some need to be whispered once and buried fast. As I stood, the waitress passed by. Refill? I shook my head. No. I think I'm done here. Because I was. Done carrying their weight. Done explaining myself. Done being the man who kept his voice inside while others sold lies on speakerphone. There's a saying, what's broken stays broken unless you choose to bleed for the fix. I bled. And now I walk. One step. Then another. Into the kind of future you don't plan, you just survive. Quiet. Real. Mine.